Guys, Trent Ty here with Purgatory Iron Works, and had a lot of people talking about borax. What is it, and why do you need to cook it down? Well, got all that for you in this video. First of all, what is borax? Borax is used as a flux in a lot of blacksmith work. If you're doing forge welding where you're fusing metals together, the borax sticks to the metal and it prevents oxygen from getting to it. Because what happens is when you expose really hot metal to air, it forms an oxide layer. Basically that black scale that you see coming off is this oxide. And the problem is if you're looking to fuse two pieces of metal, if there's that layer of oxide, the metal won't stick. So you need something to first dissolve the oxides that are already there and prevent more from getting on there. That's where the borax comes in. Because when you sprinkle the borax on the metal, it coats it, eats away the original scale, and air can't get through that coating. It's like coating a chocolate stick in honey or something. Air can't get to the chocolate stick, right? So let me show you what we got here. Now this is my coal forge. This right here is my borax box. I think that's borax. Yeah, that's borax. So yeah, that's the good stuff too. So borax is usually kept right beside the particular forge fire. So let's go over here and let me show you how this stuff works. I've got a hot piece of metal here in the fire. Let me warm it up real quick. And very simply, I'm going to take a spoonful of what we now know to be borax. And I'm going to sprinkle this on here, and if you can see, the borax is melting to coat the steel. But see how it's bubbling? What's happening is because there's water in the borax molecules, that water is boiling off. But you can see that glassy coating, and that is what you're looking for in your flux. And there we go. As the metal cools, you can still see it has that nice, slick, glassy coating with all the water driven off from the borax. Okay, back into the fire. So the problem is because all that water is boiling off, the borax doesn't really, it wants to move a little bit. It doesn't stay exactly where you put it. So a lot of people talk about cooking the borax down into something that can be sprinkled on that won't bubble like that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And we have just a standard cooking pot here. And I'm going to take a little bit of borax and put right in here. And then you're going to put that in the fire. And I'll turn it up so you can watch. And I'm going to hit me an air blast. And what's going to happen, and you can see it right there on the edges, you can already see it starting to cook down. And what all that is, it'll start steaming here in a minute. It's driving the water off of that borax. It'll take a little bit, it'll take a few minutes, and you don't have to do this really fast. You just have to let it sit. And it takes a good little while to get it all cooked down. You see it raising up right there. And you just kind of have to keep it touching the bottom. And so what will eventually happen is all this will cook down. So what you should be left with are glassy pieces of what look like slag. Now you can't use it in this form, so what you have to do is you have to take all of this, and a mortar and pestle really works, but you can take your hammer on your anvil and you can sit here and you're going to have to very carefully crush this stuff up. And it's a real pain in the end. As you can see, it wants to go everywhere. But you sit here and you crush this into a powder, and then you can sprinkle that powder onto the metal, and it won't bubble quite as much. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is kind of really an aggravating process, and there is a much faster and easier way to do this, and I'm going to share that trick with you guys right now. So you can see here that the stuff is cooking down. I'm going to give it just a little more heat, and you want to make sure your handle's not too hot so you can put your hand on it. And you want to use whichever your dominant hand is. If you hammer with your right hand, then do this with your right hand. So make sure she's got good heat on her. And you want to step back a little bit. You want to take this pot of borax and you want to throw this son of a gun right out in the scrap pile with the rest of the stuff that does not belong in the shop. There is absolutely no reason to cook down your borax. It works. Sprinkle your damn borax on your metal and go back to work. If you've got to worry about sitting there with a mortar and pestle just so your borax doesn't bubble, brother, you don't have enough blacksmithing to do. That's the lesson for today, guys. Trent and Ty, Purgatory Ironworks on YouTube. I'll see you guys later.